drives revenue. Number 2, consistency creates clarity. Number 3, knowledge is power. Number 4, systems create freedom. And number 5, trust creates scalability. Quick sip of water. Okay. So I wanted to give you guys a quick little backstory. You could almost say that I started coaching from the time I was about 5. If you saw my report cards from kindergarten, they'd say she has leadership skills. And I was the only kid in grade 5 who was asked to be a playground conflict manager, my first step into personal development. I thought it was so cool that I got to go to this big conference with a special notebook for 2 days while the rest of my class had to stay at school. By the time I was 24, I was a manager in a 150,000 square foot fitness facility with over 7,000 members, helping drive $2.5 million a year in services and personal training sales. And that number grew to over 16 million as I continued my career in fitness and into online marketing and coaching. And over the years, I went from being a trainer to a club manager to a regional manager, did the whole corporate ladder thing. I traveled all across Canada. I hired over 1,000 trainers, opened over 80 fitness clubs where we implemented the same systems over and over again because we knew they worked. And even when they didn't, it was super simple to find out why so we could fix it. I lived and breathed numbers day in and day out. It's like part of my DNA at this point. And because of that, I was able to make great decisions based on data. I started my first online business in 2013 as a fitness business coach. For 3 long years, I kept flip-flopping on my avatar, changing my offer and my pricing. And eventually I'd settled on a 3-month high-ticket program and I was making decent money, but I was burnt out. I was constantly hustling to find new clients, repeating myself all day long, answering the same questions. And I realized that not only could I not keep this up, but even if I could, I would always have this ceiling for how much revenue I could generate based on the number of hours in my day. And I knew I wanted to make more impact and help more people. It just didn't make sense. And not only that, but I couldn't plan ahead. I never knew how much revenue I'd have in the coming months, and I felt completely stuck. I became so burnt out that I decided to leave my business to get a job. Ugh, that one hurt. But it didn't last long. I just couldn't shake the entrepreneur in me. So after 18 months, I left to start my own business again. This time I knew I had to do things differently. I knew I wanted to sell a lower ticket offer. I wanted to make my offer more accessible to my audience. I wanted to set up an offer where I got to work with people long-term and really get to know them and their businesses. And instead of a short 8 to 12 week program and then never see them again, I wanted to create that predictability. I wanted to ensure that I could predict my revenue ahead of time so I could plan ahead, book the vacation, get the car, save for the rainy days, right? And that's exactly what I did. I launched my group coaching offer, and in just 8 months, I generated more revenue than I did in all of year 4 of my first business. By having that reoccurring revenue, I was able to focus on the bigger picture, not stress about going into every single month starting from scratch. And within a few months, I was able to hire. Within about a 6-week time frame, I hired a tech expert to support my clients, a bookkeeper, a designer, and a virtual assistant. And the following month after that, I sold $26,000 and I haven't looked back since. And now I'm on a mission to help coaches and service providers just like you guys create the consistency you need so that you can have the business and life you truly want. So here's the big picture. The revelation is that all you need to do in your business to grow and scale is to create a scalable business model with reoccurring revenue so that you can create predictability and make more impact. Think of it this way. If you knew the exact system that took your audience through to becoming clients, if you knew exactly how many people you needed to go through that system to get 1 or 5 or 20 clients at a time, wouldn't that be a game changer in your business? So you don't need to have a ton of offers. And in fact, you actually shouldn't. You don't need to create something new. All you need is to create and understand your systems so that you can create a plan using real, actual numbers and data to get you the results that you want. All right. So today I'm going to share with you the 5 principles that we need to use in order to move into that true CEO role, no matter where you are in your business right now. Step number 1. All right. So the number one thing that you need to have in your business is clarity about who you serve and the transformation that you provide. The problem is that if you lack clarity around who you serve, your ideal client avatar, and how you serve them, it's going to be really hard to figure out what your message is, what to offer, how to price it, and how to connect with them so that you can move them from your community into being a client. And so all the people you're trying to help aren't going to get what they need, because in order to do that, they actually need to work with you. But if they aren't clear on exactly what you do, they're going to be confused. And confused people don't take action, they don't invest. So that's why getting clarity on your avatar and the transformation you provide is the first step towards creating predictability and scaling your business. It's why in my consistency code program, we create your ideal client avatar first. Because if you aren't clear on this, nothing else is going to work, leaving you feeling like you're putting in all this effort and not getting the results that you want. You know, it used to be that you could choose your avatar based on things like gender and age or level of income. But as the online space adds more and more people every single day, that is no longer going to work. Now you need to be really clear on exactly who they are. What's their family like? What do they like to do on the weekends? What are the things that drive them crazy? What do they truly want, right? Let's use the fitness industry as an example. Like, you may be trying to help people get fit, but the way you talk to a 25 to 35-year-old single male who wants to get jacked isn't the same as talking to a 55-year-old male who is a busy executive, has a wife and 3 kids at home. It's just not the same, right? So now, in order to truly differentiate yourself, you need to have a deep understanding of who this person is, what their biggest challenges are, exactly how you're going to help them get there, and the transformation that you provide. And I'll give you this little hint, right? Most of the time, your avatar is an old version of you. So you don't have to worry about trying to figure out what your audience is going through. You know, you just need to think about what you went through and how you felt and the steps you took to get where you are today, and how you feel now that you've come out on the other side, right? This is the transformation. And if your avatar isn't quite you, that's okay too. Just think about friends or family you've helped, or one of your favorite clients instead. You know, when I started my business back in 2013, I struggled to get clear on exactly who I was serving. I didn't know what my offer was going to be or how I was going to deliver it. But I always knew that as soon as I had that nailed down, I could create a plan that would ultimately give me the predictability and profitability I wanted. I felt like I was working so hard, doing all the things I was supposed to do, but I still wasn't getting results. I was flip-flopping all the time, constantly trying different things and never staying the course. And because of that, I never had any proper information to help me figure things out. So I had to make a decision. Am I going to keep flip-flopping on my avatar, offering different things, trying all the marketing tactics, or am I going to get some help? In 2016, I finally, after 3 years, hired a coach. And I still do that today because I know that if I was going to get where I wanted to go, I needed help. And as a coach, I know that the more I know, the more I can give back to my clients. So I knew I had to invest in myself. I remember my soon-to-be coach clearly saying to me, Jodi, every time I talk to you, your avatar and your offer are different. It was like a dagger through my heart. I knew that if I didn't get the clarity and the help I needed, I was going to keep staying stuck. And without her help, or with her help rather, I got the clarity I needed to create a solid offer and pricing strategy that helped me quadruple my revenue year over year. All right, number 2, consistency creates clarity. Aren't you guys sick of the feast or famine, this revenue roller coaster that I call it? You know, 1 month you do 3,000, the next month you do 7, then it's 2, and it's driving you crazy because you can't plan ahead, which means you can't buy the new house or the new car. You're not able to save to go on the vacation or maybe for your kids' college education, right? Everything just feels so up and down all the time. And it's literally sucking up all of your energy, bandwidth, and creativity and keeping you from doing your actual job as the true CEO. Instead of being focused on the vision, the strategy, and serving your clients, you're starting every month from 0, wondering how you're ever going to get to hire your first or next team member because you don't know if you can pay them or even if you can pay yourself. And in order to create predictability and to stop selling all the time, we need to create a scalable business model with recurring revenue. So how do we do that? All right, 3 things. Number 1, we build an offer that you can deliver on a one-to-many basis. Number 2, you create a long-term offer, 3 months minimum, ideally 6 or 12. Number 3, signature pay for what you get revenue model. So number 1, if you are a coach, this would be like a group coaching program where you deliver content along with regular coaching to support your clients. If you're a service provider like a copywriter or a designer, this may mean having weekly or bi-weekly Q&A sessions for all of your clients. Or if you're a photographer, this might mean doing group photo sessions. Delivering your offer in this way is going to help you spend less time in one-on-one and more time in the group. Number 2, creating a 6 to 12 month offer. What this does, it allows you guys to work with your clients over the long term. So instead of selling a program that's only 6 or 8 weeks and having to sell it all the time, you're able to work with your people on an ongoing basis. So let's say you're a business coach and maybe you specifically work with strategy or systems or sales, right? Instead of teaching a 6-week course to teach them how to sell, you might turn it into a sales training membership where you have ongoing communication with them and ongoing support, right? And number 3 is building your signature revenue model. So this strategy is crucial, right? There are so many ways you could set up your pricing model, and most entrepreneurs believe that cash is king. So they often focus on offers that are paid in full, or they want to make it so easy for people to get started that they offer a payment plan over 6 or 12 months for a 3-month offer, creating the chance that people won't pay once the program is over, right? And with both of these models, you're building an ineffective signature revenue model because you're either on the paid in full roller coaster or you're running the risk of losing money when people don't pay for the program once it's done. So the most effective signature revenue model is the pay for what you get, where you'll match what you deliver in the offer to the time frame. So they always get what they pay for. I know for me, when I built this model into my business, that it gave me the space I needed to be able to look at the big picture, to work on the projects, and to take the next steps because I knew I had a certain amount of revenue coming in. So I didn't have to start from scratch every month, right? So when you charge monthly, the investment the client makes should match what they get in the same month. This way, they're not paying up front, no straining on your cash flow, and they aren't paying after the program or service has been delivered. The long-term monthly payments like this, strain the ability for them to renew and runs the risk that they won't pay at all once the service or program is complete, okay? This is also a really great practical way to do payments for your clients. This way they aren't out that huge lump sum. The investment is lower because your model allows for volume when working with your clients in a group setting, and they won't feel like they're paying for something they aren't getting anymore with a long-term payment plan. So it just makes sense all around. So let's talk about the old way versus the new way, right? No more working with clients one-to-one, repeating yourself all day long, getting burnt out. No more high-ticket sales, asking for thousands and thousands of dollars that maybe you don't even feel comfortable asking for. No more short 6-week programs, no more revenue roller coaster, right? We want to move into this land of opportunity, one-to-many, medium ticket offer, a lot easier for your clients to say yes, pay for what you get revenue model, long-term commitments, and creating that predictability. When I first started working with Corey, she was offering standalone one-to-one sessions for her clients, which meant she was always selling. She didn't have the opportunity to implement her feedback, and she was getting totally overwhelmed. She wanted to be able to make more money, stop trading dollars for hours, and stop having to sell all the time. So we worked together in my consistency code coaching program, and we built a 12-week program, renewable monthly thereafter, where she included the time she was spending outside of her actual sessions and finally stopped trading her time for money. So now she also had a reoccurring monthly coaching membership for those who wanted to continue to work with her. So she got major clarity on her offer and made this shift from trading dollars for hours to selling programs. She was able to sell less often, get back her time, and make more money. And Corey's hitting 5-figure months and actually needs to level up again as we speak. All right, let's tackle number 3. So the third principle is you need to track your results, right? Knowledge is power. Here's the thing, right? If you're like most entrepreneurs, you're making it up as you go along, you're trying a million different strategies and none of them seem to really work. And you're not tracking anything, so you have no idea where the gaps are, right? I get it. You're trying to figure out what does work. But the problem is that if you don't track anything, if you're constantly trying different strategies, you'll never be able to actually find the gaps you need to fill. And you'll never be able to turn that strategy into a consistent system that you can use over and over and over again, right? And maybe in your mind, you're saying things like, well, I'm the entrepreneur. I'm the ideas person. I'm not good at planning, or I don't have time to plan, right? And I get it. When I started my first business, even though I knew I needed to track and plan, I still didn't. Why? Because I was so caught up in the day-to-day. I was trying to do everything all at once. I was worried about making enough money to pay my mortgage. I was operating from a place of stress, worry, and uncertainty, which is why we just talked about the signature revenue model. And I definitely didn't feel like I had the time, or more importantly, the bandwidth to plan everything. Plus, I had no idea what would work, so planning kind of seemed pointless. But the only way I was going to figure out what worked was if I did plan in the first place, if I tracked the results, if I made adjustments based on data, and if I repeated the process until it worked. The truth is, tracking results will lead to clarity and consistency, because when you know the system works, you can repeat it time after time, right? You guys were put on this planet to do more, to serve, and to have the business that you dream of. You know, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and the guest, Hina Khan, said, if you're consciously aware of a big goal, you can't have that awareness of that idea if you aren't capable of fulfilling it. I thought that was so powerful. So guys, your big dreams are there for you. You are meant to achieve them, but you cannot do it if you're flying by the seat of your pants. And it's like Peter Drucker says, you can't manage what you can't measure. You know, I remember when I was working with Angie, she was one of the fitness managers on my team at one of the biggest fitness clubs in Canada. She was managing a team of between 12 and 15 trainers at a time. And she didn't have the systems in place. So we created a structure. We were able to track the numbers, and she grew her business 300% year over year and was nominated as one of the top fitness managers in the company. And all she did was follow the structure. So let me tell you a bit about how this works. The first thing is you need to have a clear goal, what you want to accomplish and when. The second, you need to have absolute clarity on who you serve, your message, and your offer, your pricing, and how you deliver. Okay. Number 3, you need to track your efforts. Are you using DMs? Are you speaking? Are you getting featured on podcasts? Do you have an online lead generation system, right? You need to track the system at every step so you always know what's going on. And you want to make sure that you aren't doing something once and deciding it just doesn't work, right? It doesn't work like that. You have to implement and assess, adjust, and try again. So the structure is goals, clarity, and track. Now in the Consistency Code program, you are going to get live trainings and scripts and tools and templates for everything that you need to do here. But the first thing I want you to do is just get this on a higher level, right? That's the process that's going to help you figure out what's working and what's not, so you can continue to grow and scale your business. Okay, principle number 4. If you don't have a sales system that creates predictable results, then you'll always be flying by the seat of your pants trying to figure out how to hit your goals. Your systems create freedom. Your sales system is the system that connects you with your potential client, right? what we call a lead, builds the relationship and converts them into a paying client. This could be from your social media or a speaking event, from messages, booking a call, then you make the offer and then the sale. If you aren't sure how to get your leads through avenues like organic or paid traffic, Facebook groups, networking, hosting events, if you aren't sure how to write copy that helps people take the next step with you, if you aren't sure how to sell your offer on a call, you're missing the boat here. So maybe you're creating content all day long or creating a lead magnet to add people to your email list. All those things are great, but if you don't have a sales system for bringing your audience into your world, you'll never be able to have that predictable revenue that you want and actually become the CEO. If you want to scale, you have to have a sales system in place, and you always need to be building or improving it. It doesn't matter if you're just starting out or if you're already doing 5 figures a month. There needs to be absolute clarity around your audience and how they become a client, how they move from one offer to the next, and how you work with them every step of the way, right? In the Consistency Code program, we help you create your sales system so that you know exactly how to take your community from lead to client with predictability so that you can grow your business month after month. So here's an overview of that sales system. Step number 1, creating the offer. Step number 2, you're going to connect with your people, your potential clients. Step number 3, you're going to nurture them, develop those relationships, get on calls, have conversations. Step number 4, you're going to test out the offer, right? Maybe you've heard of a beta test before. You're going to have people try it out and see how it works, get feedback. Step number 5, you're opening up the offer to everybody else. Okay, so let me share this one with you because this is one of the best stories to illustrate this. This is Donnie. He's one of my Consistency Code clients, and he's an in-home personal training business owner who has built a solid business, been on his local TV station, and has super high-end executive clients and is totally killing it in the fitness industry. He said he wanted to scale his business, but he didn't really have the systems to do it. Donnie was able to move people from being into his audience onto his email list. They were invited to book calls, and then he was selling them a 12-month training program with reoccurring revenue model. Donnie doubled the size of his team and his revenue year over year, and was also able to take himself out of the daily business and hire a director. Right? So you guys can see, not only did this affect him, but it also helped his trainers hit record months with their paychecks. So not only did it affect his entire business, but it affected every single one of them as well. Pretty cool, right? All right. So I want you guys to really think about this. If you had a sales system in place that helped you get clients and create consistency, what would that do for you? Like, what's on your bucket list? What are your goals for the rest of 2021? Is it to buy that house? Is it the car? Is it the vacation? Just imagine when you hit those goals, how that will change your life. Right? Write it down, write it down. Okay, last one. So last but not least, principle number 5 is trust creates scalability. Building a team. Guys, if you want to build a business without completely burning out, doing it alone is not an option. If you're staying up all night getting things done, if you're doing things you hate, like bookkeeping or going down the tech rabbit hole or designing in Canva all night, and if you're anything like me, that's the last thing you want to be doing, and quickly running out of bandwidth, you need to hire a team, right? If you think nobody can do it as well as you can, if you have never managed a team before, even if you think you can't afford it, the truth is you can't afford not to. If you're here, it's because you are trying to grow and scale and be able to repeat the process over and over again. So if you want to go far, you can't do it alone, right? You have to go together. When I started this business, I knew that I had to have 100% clarity on what I wanted. I had to know exactly what I wanted the business to look like, how things would run on the day-to-day, what my team would look like, and what my financial goals were. And the one thing I knew for sure was that, as Malcolm Gladwell says, what got you here won't get you there. And I knew that I had to make a decision from where I wanted to be and not from where I was. I knew that if I was going to be able to serve double or triple the number of clients, I had to update my systems, my onboarding, my client delivery, everything. But there was no way I could do it alone. I had to take all the things that I didn't need to be doing off my plate. I had to focus on my zone of genius and create that mental space so that I could show up as my best self for everybody around me. And as I talked about when we started today, within that 6-week time frame, I hired 4 different people, and the next month did that $26,000, which never would have been possible if I hadn't had those people helping me. You know, running a business isn't a one-person show. You need a team. When you think things like, I don't know what to hire for, or where do I find team members, or I can't afford to hire someone, right? I get it. Taking the leap to bring on 4 people within a short period of time was scary. What if they didn't do a good job, right? What if I don't successfully onboard them? But I had to make that decision, and I had to decide that I didn't need to do it alone, right? If you want to move forward, if you want to make a bigger impact, if you want to get your name out there and get known, you need a team. You can't do it alone. And you're here to make the biggest impact possible. And the only way to do that is with other people. Having a team in place will help you stay focused on the things that you love and things that you are the best at doing, right? Let you be the visionary, let you be the strategist. Having a team will help you get out of the day-to-day, help you work on the business, and become the true CEO. So here's a quick overview of how the consistency code works. And the bottom line is you gotta have all 3 sections: the scalable revenue model, your systems and tracking, and your leadership and communication. Because if you're missing one or the other, things aren't gonna work the way that you need them to. So I wanted to take a quick second to show you guys this and how you can build your business month after month and go from being the inconsistent entrepreneur to the consistent CEO. So $300 a month for clients with a 6-month commitment. Here's how you go: $900 all the way up to $4,500, $5,400, $6,300 a month. It's totally possible. All right, so quick wrap up here. So the first big idea that we talked about is that you need to have clarity to drive revenue, and realizing that without having complete clarity on who you serve, the transformation you provide, and how you deliver it, it's going to be tricky to move forward. Then we talked about number 2, consistency creates clarity. By having that reoccurring revenue model and setting yourself up with a pay for what you get, that allows you to create consistent revenue, creating space to think big picture, and lets you work on the business instead of in it. The third strategy we talked about was knowledge is power. This is where we're going to track our results so we can make informed decisions. Number 4, systems create freedom. We've got to create a sales system so that you know exactly what it takes to get people from being in your community to being a client. And number 5, trust creates scalability. We have to be able to trust other people to help and support us so that we can create this space and time and bandwidth to be able to do all the rest of the things that we need to do as the true consistent CEO. All right. So question to throw out there: what's been the most valuable so far? And do you guys have any questions? All right, so let's do a quick wrap up with talking about a bit of your future, right? Let's take you into the future. Let's go 6 months from now. You've learned how many people you need to bring into your world in order to gain clients. You're consistently gaining 2 or 5 or 20 a month, and you've got reoccurring revenue every month too. And maybe let's talk a year from now. Your reoccurring revenue allowed you to hire your first few team members so you could focus on your zone of genius. Excuse me. And 3 years from now, You're reflecting on all the people that you've helped, all the clients you've served, and you're thinking about how you've built and refined your systems so you could finally create the business that you wanted. So in order to get where we want to go, we have to make decisions from a place of where we want to be and not where we are. And the person who's ready to take this step is asking, how do I actually do this? So I'm going to wrap up here. I'm going to jump in